Eau Rouge. You should be approaching Eau Rouge flat out in 6th gear, following the downhill run from the start-finish straight. This is one of the most exciting corners in modern motorsport and requires guts as well as skill to negotiate effectively. You can straighten the corner a little by taking some of the left side entry curbing. This will allow you to carry more momentum into the punishing uphill right-hander, but these entry curbs are serrated and can upset all but the best set-up cars. You should either drop to 5th gear or ease the throttle in 6th at this point, depending on the torque curve of the car you are driving. A good stiff setup is required with ample ride height, or you'll lose grip as the underside of the car gets forced onto the asphalt with the compression the uphill dip causes. You should be at or around 140 miles per hour through the uphill right-hander, getting on the throttle for the left-hand exit. Be careful not to take too much curb on the left side, as exit marbles can collect here and driving on marbles is like driving on ice. Any additional exit speed you gain through Eau Rouge will be carried up the long straight through Kemmel to Les Combes, so every single miles per hour counts. Kemmel, a gentle right-hander that can be easily negotiated flat out. You should attempt to turn the wheel as little as possible to ease the resistance and allow your speed, about 165 miles per hour, to climb as freely as possible up to the breaking point for Les Combes. Les Combes. In good conditions, you should be at around 178 miles per hour in the GT cars, or 10 miles per hour less in the NGTs when you brake at about 150 meters for the first turn of Les Combes. Be careful here, as there are a series of washboard bumps at the end of the braking area just as you turn in. This complex can be taken in various ways, but what you gain in one turn will be lost in the next unless you are careful to balance your exit speed and give the car a good entry to the following turn. Compromise is the key to success here. Strategies differ among drivers, but you should aim to take the right-hand entry turn in 2nd gear or low revs in 3rd gear. The heavily serrated curbs here will make life difficult and can be punishing for your car, but taking a lot of curb is the fastest way through. Don't use all the exit and attempt to stay around the centre of the road for a fast entry to the left-hander, which will be upon you almost immediately. This left also has fierce serrated curbing, with a lip that can catch the inside of the tyres and throw the car offline if you attempt to take too much of it. You can use the entire curb on the exit here, but prepare your car for the impending right-hand final turn by getting over to the left side of the circuit as quickly as possible. You should grab 3rd gear for this final right-hander and give the high apex curb a lot of respect, as it will upset your car. Get on the power as quickly as you can and swing wide over the smooth exit curb at around 110 miles per hour for the quick run down to Rivage. Rivage. You will need to brake early for this hairpin, as many years of rolling punishment has created some severe washboard bumps in the braking area that demands the maximum from your car's suspension and your finesse at the wheel. Drop to 2nd gear and try to stay as tight to the inside as possible, as this offers the most grip. Avoid the high curbing and maintain steady revs at around 60 miles per hour in 2nd gear. The exit here is extremely slippery as moisture collects in the valley, so be careful on the throttle and allow the car to run wide, taking full advantage of the flat exit curbing on the left. Try to get the car to the right side of the track as soon as possible for a fast entry to the following left-hander. Turn into this left-hander a little sooner than you feel you want to, modulating the revs in 3rd gear. Getting on the throttle early and smoothly and using all of the right side curbing is essential to get a fast run down to the double apex Pouhon. Pouhon. You should be roaring towards this high-speed double left-hand corner flat in 5th gear. Brake late from the right side of the track, dropping to 4th gear and feather the brake pedal to bring the nose down and the weight forward to get as much front grip as possible as you turn into the left side apex at over 100 miles per hour. If you have set the car up with little rear wing, be wary of high-speed oversteer, especially if you kiss the curbing on the left. Allow the car to run wide to the right side curbing mid-corner, then get on the throttle hard, changing up to 5th midway through the final left. Avoid the inner curbs here, but make full use of the right side curbing on the exit for the run down to the Fagnes S. Fagnes S. Get hard on the brakes just before the signage bridge, keeping left for this sweeping right-left S-bend and drop to low revs in 3rd gear, aiming to keep the car nicely balanced. Use as much of the right-hand entry curbing as you dare to maximise your speed. You should be able to maintain around 85 miles per hour throughout in the GT cars. Just as in Les Combes, sacrifice your speed on the right-hander moving to the centre of the track to allow for a smooth entry to the left-hand exit. You will be testing the mechanical grip to its limits here as you rapidly change direction. Use the curbs on the left, but be careful to modulate the throttle and balance the car with small steering inputs and corrections to give you a stable base to accelerate hard to the exit curbing on the right, reaching about 120 miles per hour in 4th gear down the short straight to Stavelot. Stavelot. This is a fairly straightforward 2nd gear right-hander that feeds into a 4th gear exit. Brake at about 50 meters and drop down to 2nd gear on the approach. You can take liberties with the right side apex curbing and allow the car to run wide over the drivable curbs on the left. With a good setup, you can just about floor the throttle getting up to 4th gear for the fast right-hand exit. Like Eau Rouge, any additional speed you carry on the exit here will be maintained right up the long uphill section to Blanchiment, greatly improving your lap time. Blanchiment. This is the fastest corner on the circuit and one of the fastest corners in motorsport. You approach it flat out in 6th gear, keeping hard to the right side of the track to smooth out the turn as much as possible. The nature of this corner varies a lot depending on setup and the temperature of your tyres. With cold tyres, you will need to drop your speed considerably to avoid running wide on the exit where there is often heavy marble build-up. To avoid the marbles, be careful not to run too wide over the exit curbing. If your tyres are at peak operating temperature and your car is well set up, it is just about possible to take the turn flat out in 6 with a perfect driving line. Bus stop chicane. You'll be approaching this slow chicane flat out up the hill from Blanchiment. Brake as close to 120 meters as you dare, just before the signage bridge, and attempt to keep the car in a straight line and to the right side of the track. Most drivers take the first part in 2nd gear using low revs, just allowing the car to flow over the high curbing. Attempt to straight line the first 2 curbs as much as possible. Your suspension will be worked to the maximum and the sharp tooth curbing will undoubtedly upset the car. Take too much curb or get on the power too early and you'll risk spinning out. Don't allow the car to run too wide on the left side curbing as this will restrict your ability to get full and early on the throttle. This exit section is a full throttle no-brainer and your aim should be to get up through the gears as quickly as possible on the run-up to La Source. La Source. This is the slowest corner on the circuit and presents an excellent overtaking opportunity. You'll be in 5th gear before getting hard on the brakes a little earlier than you feel you need to. The braking area has a series of washboard bumps that can cause the car to skid or jump if you try to brake too late. Most drivers take this turn in 2nd gear to allow a smoother power delivery on the long run down the start-finish straight, but it can also be taken in 1st gear. The main aim here should be to get on the throttle hard without spinning the rears, as good acceleration will be carried right down the hill to Eau Rouge.
has given you a warning for cutting the track. Keep between the white lines.